it's Ashley with Ashley Teaches ESL. Welcome back to my channel where you'll find new videos every week about getting hired as an ESL teacher, kickstarting your teaching career, and bringing balance to your work and your life. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some strategies that you can implement that will help you pass your VIPKid demo or mock class and blow away the VIPKid team with your amazing online English teaching skills. But before we go any further, make sure to hit like and subscribe on that video and click that bell notification so that you don't miss the rest of my series on the VIPKid hiring process. Thank you very much for your support. You guys are the best. So to tell you a little bit about myself, I have been teaching English online with VIPKid since March of 2019. It has really become my passion and I just love it so much. I'm also a hiring coach and referral teacher, which means not only have I been through the hiring process successfully myself, but I've also helped other people get hired and pass their hiring process in every step thereof. So if you're looking for someone to guide you through the hiring process, give you tons of resources, and help you be as successful as you can be right out the gate, I'm your girl. You can add my referral code by going to your account at VIPKid and clicking the account tab up in the top right corner and then hitting referral. That will be on the drop down menu. My referral code is ASHLE 1288. That'll also be in the description box for you guys. And if you haven't started your application with VIPKid yet, you can click the link in the description box and that will automatically add me as your referral teacher and I'll be able to send you those free resources right away. If you do use my link or my referral code in your application process, make sure to email me at ashleyteachesesl.coaching@gmail.com. That'll be in the description box for you guys as well. Just make sure you shoot me an email so that I have your contact information and I know where I can send your hiring guide, your free props, and all of the other wonderful resources that I'm going to make available to you as soon as you use that code. So to start, I want to clarify what exactly the demo class and the mock classes are. So your demo/interview is basically your entry into VIPKid. That's where the team is going to decide whether they want to hire you or not. So this is a one-time thing, pass or fail. If you don't pass, you will have to reapply. The mock class, on the other hand, is more of a training tool. It is possible to fail your mock class, but only if you're not showing up and you are missing your mock classes and basically telling the team that you don't want to be here and you don't want to work at VIPKid really. That's the only reason, the only way you can really mess up your mock class to the point of having to reapply. Otherwise, failing your mock class just means that you have to take another mock class, and it really is a good thing for you to take more than one mock class because really all it is training for you to teach your very first class. It'll be with an American, usually, or a native English speaker, and someone who's an experienced VIPKid teacher. So they'll be able to give you lots of feedback on what you can do better, what you're doing well, etc., etc. So those are really good. Don't feel bad at all if you have to retake your mock class. Most people do their mock class 3 or 4 times before passing and getting their certification. So don't sweat it if you don't pass the first time. They are a training tool and you should view them as such. So the more times you have to redo it, that's just more training and experience that you're getting under your belt. So there's 3 things that they're looking for you to do on every single slide. Number 1 is to make the student speak in a complete sentence. Now there's several ways you can do this. You can have the sentence written out on a whiteboard, say the sentence first, then cup your ear to let them know that they should say the sentence and point to each word. That tells them to say the full sentence and not just 1 or 2 words. You can use your fingers to count the number in the sentence, like my name is Ashley. And then listen for them and point to your fingers or count something like that to kind of model to them that they're supposed to speak and say each individual word in the sentence. You can use a puppet to model the conversation. What's your name? My name is Tina. What's your name? Like that. Number 2 is to make sure that correct grammar is being used by both the teacher and the student. You would be surprised how many people go into their demo and mock classes and are not using the correct grammar that they're supposed to be teaching to the kids. So it's important that we as teachers are setting an example of how we want our kids to speak. So make sure that you are always using accurate grammar, and if it means you have to brush up on it, maybe you haven't really looked at it much since high school. I know I had to brush up on some topics myself. That's fine. You can do that. It will help you a lot for sure. As far as the student side goes, you just want to make sure that you're correcting them if they use incorrect grammar. So in a mock class, you'll have that experienced teacher pretending to be a 5-year-old student, and they're going to purposely make mistakes to see how you'll correct those mistakes. So just be prepared and make sure that if there's a grammar mistake, like I see dog instead of I see a dog, you want to make sure to correct that in a positive way, and we'll go over that a little bit more in detail in just a little bit. The third thing is that you want to give them a chance to answer a question that uses the sentence pattern or the vocabulary word that's being taught on that slide. So basically, if the slide is teaching I am fine as the sentence pattern, to elicit that response, you want to ask, how are you? And then wait for them to say, I am fine. So that's another thing you should do. So one more time, going over those 3 things. You want to make sure the student speaks in complete sentences, they use proper grammar, and that they are asked a question that will elicit the independent response of that sentence pattern. So those are your 3 big ones, but now let's just go into some kind of more general strategies that you can use in your demo and your mock classes that your mock class mentor as well as the VIPKid team will be actually looking for you to use, and these are very important for you to implement into your demo and mocks. So the first tip is to make sure that you give them plenty of time to speak and that you pause and listen for a good amount of time. Now, this is mostly more important if you do the live demo or in your mock classes. And there's a couple of reasons for this. First of all, you want to give your student plenty of time to hear what you're saying, to process it. Remember, they have to translate it in their mind so they understand it, and then retranslate it when they say it, and then enough time to say it back to you. So you have to account for all that, plus there's about a 1-second delay because of the internet. So make sure that you're patient and that you wait for them to say it, and don't get impatient and start talking again before they've said anything. Give them plenty of time to respond to you. The next thing, and this is a big one, is to use TPR. TPR means total physical response. There's 2 types of TPR. One is instructional. Instructional TPR is when you are using gestures to tell your student what to do, to give them instructions on how to complete an activity. So the most common one would be like pointing your finger to your mouth to signify, hey, I'm saying something and I want you to watch how I'm pronouncing it, and then cupping your hand to your ear. Now I'm ready for you to repeat it to me. So that's what it tells your student, is watch for pronunciation, then repeat what the teacher just said. So that's the biggest instructional TPR that you see. It can also be things like draw a line or circle. Just any kind of gestures to tell them what they are supposed to be doing. The next type of TPR that you see is educational TPR. And educational TPR is what we use to teach our students a new concept or a word or a sentence pattern. For example, cat, cat. So for educational TPR, you want to make a gesture that'll remind the student of what that word is. Now with educational TPR, you want to make sure that you're being specific in your gestures. For example, you wouldn't want to use this motion for milk. Why not? It looks like you're drinking milk. Well, because you could also be drinking anything else. Orange juice, water, tequila, literally anything. So that's why it's important to be really specific with your TPR and not do an action that could be mistaken for something else. Maybe with foods and things like that, it's better to hold up a prop or something they can visualize instead of just a motion. However, this is really good for drink. The next important strategy is repetition. Repetition helps our students to remember what we teach them, especially when you combine it with the TPR that we just talked about. So if they're repeating and doing the action, see, and they say see and actually bring their hands up to their eyes, the next time, after a couple times of repetition, the next time they hear you say see, they're going to think about this action, and this action is going to remind them that that's what see means. So the magic formula with repetition is to have them repeat after you at least twice, maybe 3 times if they're struggling to pronounce it, and then move into using the word into a sentence. The next strategy that you should be using in your mock and demo lesson is modeling. Modeling is basically just showing your student how to do something instead of explaining it to them, because remember, they have basically no English knowledge. At least in your demo and mock, that's the kind of student you're going to be practicing teaching, is someone with a very base or minimum no English knowledge. So they aren't going to understand if you say, okay, can you circle and draw a line? Can you match? They're not going to understand what you're saying if you just try to explain it to them. So you need to physically show them. So I've got an example here. In modeling, we have the I do, we do, you do approach. So that means first you, the teacher, shows them how to do it. Then you help them do it. And lastly, you watch them do it independently. And of course, if they still need help, help them out. This is an activity you might see on the slides where you match the big letter to the small letter. So how I would model this to a student is, sometimes it's good to copy what's on the slide onto a board so you can show them, or you can just do the classroom functions on the slide yourself with your mouse and show them how to do it that way. So for this one, you could say, can you draw a line from the big letter to the small letter? Draw a line. A. Good job. Let's draw a line. Use your mouse to draw a line. Good job, B. Yes. Your turn. Can you draw a line? Way to go. Okay, so I do, we do together, you do on your own. That's the modeling approach. we're going to use this approach in our teaching with conversations. You model the conversation with you and a puppet before having them try to do it. You can do it with classroom functions like you saw me do just then. TPR is helpful with that too, using your mouse. Draw a line or circle. Can you circle? And then you can do it as well in the system to show them what to do and what it looks like in the classroom. And you're also going to use it with vocabulary and sentences, like we were talking about in the repetition. You're repeating that word twice and then having them do it, then you do it together, and then their independent work is to say it in a sentence by themselves. That's the eventual goal at the end of each slide, is that they're able to use those words in a sentence. Something else that goes along with the modeling strategy is the fact that VIPKid already has their slides set up so that naturally you will follow the modeling protocol and format of I do, we do, you do. This is called the IPAED approach. Basically, there's going to be a letter in the corner, the top right corner of your slide, and whatever the letter is going to tell you what kind of slide it is. So IPAED stands for introduce, practice, apply, extend, and demonstrate. These are the different types of slides that you'll be teaching at VIPKid. In your demo lesson, you'll be given a random selection of one of 6 different slides, but each one of these slides is an introduce slide. So that's the only type you really need to know how to teach for your demo. When you get into your mock classes, you'll be doing a sequence of introduce, practice, and apply. And in both your demo and your mock classes, the extension part will be just you kind of adding a little something to each slide or some of the slides, just to show that you know how to extend in class if your student is advancing and doing really well with the material. The demonstrate slide is, you're not really going to see it until you actually start teaching. Basically, it's kind of like a little assessment for the students. It's every 6 lessons, but once again, you don't really have to worry about it for your mock and demo classes. So I'm going to just give you guys a brief explanation of how I would teach each of these different types of slides. For an introduce slide, that's going to be the I do portion of the modeling method. So you're just going to be having your student repeat after you. Normally these slides will have a word, a vocabulary word or two, and then a sentence using the vocabulary word. So what you'll want to do is repeat the word 2 times and the sentence 1 time. After you've done this with your student, you're going to ask them a question to elicit the sentence that you just had them repeat. So for example, if the sentence on the slide is, I see a dog, you're going to ask them to elicit that sentence, what do you see? And of course with this, since we're still in the I do phase, you're going to help them along with this. And if they need to just repeat the sentence after you ask the question, that's perfectly fine. On a practice slide, that's going to be the we do part. So you're going to start by asking the question, what do you see? The one that you just asked on the previous slide. And this time you're going to help them say, I see a dog. And whether that's leaving a blank in the sentence for them to fill in, or using fingers to count the words, using a prop, whatever you have to do to just kind of help them say that sentence. On the apply slides, those are the you do part. So generally on an apply slide, you want to try to get your student to speak in a sentence independently, all by themselves. Now, of course, if they need help, make sure that you help them. We don't want to just throw our students to the wolves and leave them hanging. But first, try to just let them speak on their own. Try not to do give them too many hints or anything like that. Try to just ask the question and listen for what they say. And if they need help, go ahead and help them. That's totally fine. Extend slides are kind of where the student is going to be able to use the information that they've just learned and apply it to some different vocabulary, maybe familiar vocabulary that they already know, or just to use the information a little bit differently. So in order to extend, an extend slide might take the same sentence pattern, I see a, but it might use a different word, like I see a cat, or I see a ball, something like that, but something that's still kind of related in a way. Or it might use a different pronoun, like we see a dog, or something like that. Just something that's a little bit different to kind of push their knowledge a tiny little bit further. Lastly, the demonstrate slides are something you're not really going to see until you are actually teaching. You don't have to worry about knowing how to do these for your demo or mock class, but just to give you a heads up, when you do get into your real live teaching, those demonstrations and assessments will be every 6 lessons. So you will want to learn how to do them eventually. I do have another video coming out soon about the IPAE format. So if you'd like more details and some examples of how to teach each of those kinds of slides, that video is going to be coming at you guys pretty soon here, probably sometime next week. The next thing that the VIPKid team is looking for you to do in your demo and mock classes is to make corrections at least one time. Correct your students. Now, this will be pretty easy if you're doing a live demo or in your mock classes, because the person pretending to be a student is going to purposely mess up to see how you correct them. On the other hand, if you're doing a recording, like the smart demo or the recorded demo, you're not going to have a real student there, so you have to kind of pretend that they mess up, and instead of after this saying, good job, pretend that they messed up and then correct them as if they had messed up. So a way you could do that, there's several ways to get them back on track, but basically, VIPKid is just looking for you to use constructive criticism and to encourage and uplift the kiddos. So some ways that I like to do that is just to kind of make a confused face, like, try again, or something like that. You don't have to say words like, no, wrong, don't do it like that. Like, we don't want to say anything negative like that. We just want to kind of guide them and give them another chance to do it better. And if they still don't know, which, because a lot of times they'll correct themselves, but if they still don't know, then you'll help them and show them the right way to do it once again, instead of explaining the right way to do it. Whatever you do, make sure that as soon as your student says the right thing, that you praise them, you make them feel like a superstar, like they're the smartest person in the whole world. Make sure you lift them up and let them know that they did a good job. Okay, moving on to pure phonetics and clear pronunciation. Guys, this is a really, really important one. It's a reason a lot of people don't get hired, because they actually aren't speaking as clearly as they think that they are. What I mean by pure phonetics is that when you say a letter for a student to repeat, you're only saying the letter sound. For example, if you're trying to teach them the H sound, you don't want to say huh, huh. You don't want to have that at the end, and we do that surprisingly frequently at the end of a lot of letter sounds. So people do kind of get tripped up that way. So instead of saying huh, huh, horse, you want to say horse. Make sure there's no at the end. The next thing is pacing. Pacing is important because In each of your demo or mock classes, no matter which one you decide and which one you're doing, you have a time limit that they want you to finish by. Now, you have a little bit of leeway with these, but for the most part, you want to make sure that you're generally staying within those time zones. A lot of pacing you're going to learn when you start teaching. So once again, not the biggest deal ever, but definitely practice it before so that you get the pacing down, because if 10 minutes goes by and you've only taught 3 slides, well, that's a problem. The way that pacing is supposed to go for each type of demo slash mock class is for the live demo, you're gonna do, it's gonna be a 5-minute class. For the recorded demo, you're going to be teaching for 5 minutes as well. For the smart demo, you have about 2.5 minutes to teach that slide. And then in the mock classes, it's going to be a 10-minute teaching on roughly 10 slides. So once again, the best practice that I can tell you is to rehearse your demo or your mock class beforehand. Time yourself, watch yourself to see what you can improve, and if you don't have the timing down, keep working on it, keep going over it again and again and again until you can get that pacing down. The last thing, and probably one of the most important things that VIPKid is looking for in your classes, is your energy. VIPKid is looking for teachers who are passionate about what they're teaching and that can connect with their students on an emotional level. So smile until your mouth hurts. Make sure that they know that you are happy and you're stoked to be there. Do jumping jacks beforehand if you have to. Use funny voices, and don't be afraid to show parts of your personality. Wear big crazy sunglasses or headbands with animal ears or whatever you want to do. Just throw in there something, a little bit of flair to show kind of how your style is and a little bit of who you are, a little bit of your personality. So there you have it. Those are the things that your mock class mentors and the VIPKid team watching your demo is going to be checking off their rubric, looking and waiting for you to do in your mock or your demo. Now, there's also a couple kind of no-nos that could cause you to fail your demo or fail your mock class. So we're going to go over those really quick just to make sure that you guys know what you shouldn't do and what reasons that I commonly see my referrals are not passing through their demo phase or getting stuck in the mock class phase. Number 1, lack of repetition. If you only say the word once and then move on, or if you don't have the student repeat after you by cupping your hand to your ear, then you will not pass. Bottom line, you have to do the instructional TPR, pointing your hand to your mouth and cupping your ear and waiting for the student's response. This is crucial. This brings us to the next thing that could potentially cause you to fail, which is kind of along the same lines, not encouraging student output. So this is basically like if you just talk and talk and talk the whole time and don't give the student a chance to say anything, you're not going to pass. It's not going to happen. Either wait for your student to speak or wait for their pretend speaking if you're doing a recording. Also, if you say a full sentence for them to repeat and they only say one word, don't just stop and move on like what they did is perfectly fine. You need to make sure that they speak in that complete sentence. Another thing that may cause VIPKid applicants to fail their demo or their mock classes is using inappropriate TPR or flat out not using TPR at all. Like we talked about before, the instructional TPR is explaining what to do, and the educational TPR is explaining a new word or concept. So if you use one for the opposite purpose, that's what I mean by using inappropriate TPR. So for example, if you're saying dog, dog, and you never show them a prop, or you never like use a filter or something to show them what dog is, they can repeat dog all day long, but they're not going to know what a dog is. So if you point to a picture and say, circle the dog, they're going to be like, what the heck is a dog? I don't know what it is. I just know how to repeat after you what you say. So that's why it's important to use the educational TPR to show them what the word means, and the instructional TPR to tell them what you want them to do. And the last big thing that I see as a cause of failure for the demo and mock class is a lack of energy. Like we just talked about, it's so important for you to be energetic. If you are just kind of going through the motions, if you're tired, if you're speaking in a monotone voice, hello, my name is Teacher Ashley, and I like to sing. Yay! Like that's not gonna fly. Once again, VIPKid is looking for passionate teachers, people who love what they do, who love the kids. So that's what they're looking for there, and if they don't see this kind of energy in your demo or your mock classes, you're probably not going to pass. They're probably going to tell you to smile more, stuff like that. So once again, as long as you are at least putting some sort of effort into making it seem like you want to be there and you're smiling the whole time, you should be fine. Alright guys, you made it through. That is all the do's and don'ts of demo and mock classes in the VIPKid hiring process. Once again, I just want to reiterate to you guys that practicing is the key here. I do not recommend just going into your demo or into your mock classes with just like you've gone over the slides and you're like, okay, I got this, I know how to teach this. You really should be practicing, recording yourself to make sure you've got the timing, and even going back and watching yourself again so you can see maybe things that you don't know you're doing that you might need to improve on. I know all this information can be super overwhelming and nerve-wracking. I know it is not an easy thing to put yourself out there and do kind of that like role play with a grown adult pretending to be a child. Trust me, teaching regular classes are much easier than your demo and mock classes, so much less stressful, but that is something you have to do to get hired, and I understand the nervousness, trust me, but I want to be your cheerleader. I want to give you guys the confidence boost that you need to just go forward and crush your demo, crush your mock classes. So I just want to let you know in this video that you've got this. You can do this. I believe in you 100%. And if you add me as your referral, you can even send me a little clip, a recording of you practicing for your demo or your mock class, and I'll watch it and I'll give you feedback. I'll tell you what you're doing right and what you could stand to change. That's an option for you. Obviously, you don't have to, but if that's something that you feel like might help you and might benefit you in the process, I would love to help you guys out with that. And if you already have a referral, maybe that's something you might consider emailing them about, or you might consider signing up for one of their coaching sessions before you go into your demo or mock class. Those can really help you out. That's why I highly recommend having a referral teacher right off the bat, just so you have that support system under you the whole time, and you can really get that feedback before you go for the real deal. And for you guys who have super bad nerves like I do, I just want to reassure you by letting you know the worst that could happen with your mock class is if you fail, you take another one. That's it. It's just a training opportunity. As far as your demo goes, that is a one-time pass or fail try, but worst case scenario, you don't pass, you can just reapply. Easy as that. You just have to resubmit your application, fill out your information again, and go through the demo process. So don't get too hung up on the what if I fail kind of aspect of it, because it's really not that big of a deal. You don't have to be super anxious over that. So that's all for today. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope I was able to reassure you a little bit if you were really nervous about stepping forward and doing your demo or your mock classes. Make sure that you don't forget to hit the bell notification in that bottom right corner so that you won't miss my next video about the IPAE format if you are interested in learning more about that. Also, after that video, I will be having more new videos every week about new topics having to do with the VIPKid hiring process going on with that series. So if you don't want to miss those videos, go ahead and hit that bell notification, hit like on this video. Make sure to shoot me a comment if you didn't understand something in this video, or if you have a question. I'd be happy to connect with you and get those questions answered for you. All right, I will see you guys next time. Happy teaching. Goodbye.